Good morning, Mom and everyone. I'm Janelle Villanora Lavinia, second year AV English. My report is all about the neuropsychology of speech production. Aphasia is a condition that robs you of the ability to communicate. It can affect your ability to speak, write, and understand language, both verbal and written. Typically occurs suddenly after a stroke or a head injury. Is an impairment of language affecting the production or comprehension of speech and the ability to read or write. Broca's area or the Broca area is also known as the motor speech area. It is near the motor cortex and utilized in speech production, located in the inferior frontal gyrus as this area relates breathing patterns while speaking and vocalization required for normal speech. Aphasia, also known as Broca's aphasia, is a type of aphasia characterized by a partial loss of the ability to produce language, spoken, manual, or written, although comprehension generally remains intact. A person with expressive aphasia will exhibit effortful speech. The difference of the Wernicke's and the Broca's. In the Broca's area, it receives impulse from Wernicke's area and converts it into motor commands. Damage disrupts the speaking. Person can understand language. Words may not be properly formed. Speech is slow and slurred. Patients may get frustrated because they know that something is wrong. While in the Wernicke's area, the area in our brain that allows understanding of spoken and written language. It is the part that enables a person to interpret language. So damage to this part causes the person to become unaware of his own speech and the speech of others. Sometimes that person can speak clearly, but the words that are put together make no sense. The way of speaking has been called word salad because it appears that the words are all mixed up like the vegetable in a salad. Might use complete the nonsense words. Others not aware of their problem. In the Wernicke's aphasia, damage to Wernicke's area, which is the left temporal parietal cortex, result in the production of fluent, but often meaningless of speech. This is called Wernicke's, sometimes a sensory aphasia. As far as one can tell, patients speak in well-formed sentences with copious grammatical elements pour under are obvious major content word finding difficulties with many word substitution and made-up words. Sharif Karamasa, Mearson, and Galvin, 1974, found that patients were unable to pick just two most similar words from tracks: a shark, mother, husband. An example of the speech of someone with Wernicke's aphasia is given in 38 from Google Glass. Good Glass as Jess Green in 1976. Agrammatism, the syntactic disorder of non-fluent patients, tell us a great deal about the process involved in speech production in traditional neuropsychology terms. Such patients suffer from what has been labeled agrammatism. Actually has three components. First, there is a sentence construction deficit, such that patients have an impaired ability to output correctly ordered words. The words do not always form sentence, but look as though they are being output one at a time. Comprehension was spared. Some people with agrammatism also have difficulty in understanding syntactically complex sentence. It's also possible that certain differences between agrammatic speakers affect different adaptation to the deficit. For example, some people show better retention of bound morphemes and others of pre-grammatical morphemes. There has been considerable debate as to whether terms such as Broca's aphasia and agrammatism have any place in modern neuropsychology. In the explanation of agrammatism is one of the explanation of agrammatism is that patients' articulation difficulties play a casual role. It might be that patients find articulation so difficult that they drop function words in an attempt to conserve resources. But agrammatism is much more than a loss of grammatical morphemes, as there is also sentence construction, and in most cases, syntactic comprehension deficit. Other theories attempt to find a single underlying cause for the three components. One obvious suggestion is that Broca's area is responsible for processing function, words, and other grammatical elements. There's also some of neuropsychological evidence that content of function words are served by different processing routines. Probabilistic difficulty in accessing grammatical elements will lead to difficulty in understanding complex syntactic construction and deficits in syntactic production in the Paul Ballard in 1995. Along these lines, Kent from 1977 proposed a single phonological deficit hypothesis, later revised by Laponte in 1983, based on the assignment of stress to a syntactic frame. Kent argued that agrammatics omits items that are unstressed components of phonological words. Hence, content words tend to be preserved and affixes function words lost. This hypothesis sparked considerable debate. The main problem is that although it explains grammatical elements lost, it does not account so well for the other components of the disorder, particularly the sentence construction deficit, nor for the patient's dissociation that we can observe in the particular patient's ability to make judgment about the grammatical sentences. Steinberger in the year 1984 compared agrammatic errors with normal speech errors. He proposed that in agrammatics, there is an increase in a random noise, an increase to the threshold that it is necessary to exceed for access to occur. In this condition, substitution and omission, particularly of low-frequency items, occur. He argued that agrammatism is a differential exacerbation of problems found in normal speech. This idea that aphasic behavior is just an extreme version of the normal speech errors is one frequently mentioned. Harley in the year 1990 made a similar proposal for the origin of paragrammatism. These are errors involving misconstructed grammatical frames and can be explained in terms of excessive substitution. In the jargon, aphasia is an extreme type of the fluent aphasia, although syntax is primarily intact in jargon aphasia. There are gross word finding difficulties. People with jargon aphasia often have difficulty in recognizing that their speech is aberrant and may become irritated when people fail to understand them, indicating a problem with a self-monitoring. Marshall Robson, Spring Orchard, 1998. The words of finding difficulties in jargon aphasia are marked by content, word substitution, aphasia, and mid-up words neologism. Paraphasia includes unrelated verbal paraphasias, thermometer typewriter, semantic paraphasias, for example, pencil, paper, form-based or formal paraphasias. Phonemic paraphasia samples 1. Sorn. Of particular interest are neologisms, which are made up of words that we found in the dictionary. And number 44 from this in 1985, and abstracts is paragraphs with no discernible relatives, where it's often description in 46 of connected speech. This is a description by patient B.C.B. from Buckingham, 1981, in page 54, and the famous Boston Cocky Steps picture, which depicts a mother washing face while the sink overfills, while in the background a little boy and girl steal the cookies. Example in the 43, the octopus and the opacus. 44, the whistle. Shh. Carla, you mean like this boy? Man, no. And no, this is a kainet or kaiket. I didn't say it. I'm not getting anything from it. I'm getting thing. I'm yes from it, but I'm getting from it. The example of the jargon of Pasha. In anomia, so is an impairment of naming an object is and picture of objects and can be found in isolation in accompanying other disorder such as Wernicke's type of Broca's aphasia. The two-stage of model is lexicalization suggests that there are two things that could go wrong in naming. We can have the difficulty retrieving the lemma from the semantic specification, or we could have difficulty in retrieving phonological form of a word after we have accessed its lemma. Therefore, we can observe the two types of anomia, the semantic anomia and the phonological anomia. So what is semantic? Anomia says the semantic level is marked by an inability to use the semantic representation to select the correct lemma. Howard and Arcad Leslie, 1984, described patients who had a general semantic disorder. Her naming of all types of objects was substantially impaired. She could correctly name only 3% of pictures without phonological clue that target such as initial phoneme. In the phonological anemia, Kate and Nellis describes the case of SST. The patient knew that precise meaning of words was good at all semantic tests, but was very poor at retrieving any phonological of information about the targets. For example, he performed normally on the pyramids and palm trees, says, and often offered detailed semantic information about the words that could not retrieve. He was not prone to interference from close semantic destructors. He was much better of retrieving high frequency words than low frequency ones. Phonological causing of the target helped only a little, and unlike ICO, EST could not mislead into producing a category coordinate. This type of anomia is reminiscent of the tip of the tongue state, as these problems appeared to arise all the phonological level rather than at the semantic level. In the summary, speech production has been studied less than the language comprehension because of the difficulty in controlling the input or thoughts. Speech production can be divided into conceptualizing, formulation, and execution. Language and production. Formulation comprised syntactic planning and lexicalization. Lexicalization is the process or retrieving the sounds of a word given in its meaning. Speech errors are an important source of data in speech production and can be described in terms of the units and mechanism involved. One of the best known models of formulation, Garrett argues the speech errors evidence suggests that there is a distinction between a function level of planning and a positive level of planning. Explicit serial order of information is not encoded at the function level of Garrett's model. Function and content words form distinct computationally vocabularies in speech production, never exchanging with each other. Syntactic persistence in the phenomenon whereby we tend to reuse syntactic structures. Hence, we can facilitate and direct production with appropriate prime sentences. Number agreements is determined by the underlying number of the subject noun. The strong version of Garrett's model in which the stages are discrete and do not interact is undermined by phonological facilitated cognitive intrusion, blends of phrases merging at the point of maximum. Phonologically, similarity and familiarity mixes in speech errors. According to the two-stage model of lexicalization, we can only access phonological words forms through a syntactically and semantically specified lexical representation called a lemma. Theft of the tongue at TOT. States are noticeably paused in retrieving a word. They arise because of the insufficient activation of words in a lexicon. Evidence of two stages comes from an analysis of speech errors, anxieties, and anomia in language that have gender. Karamasa has proposed that the data are more parsimoniously explained by just one stage. In particularly, in the TLC and Italian people can sometimes retrieve phonological information even when they cannot retrieve the gender of the word. Thank you and God bless.